he's been asked about like this process, and he said Fourth chose me, and he's like, and he straight up said, I don't understand why he chose me. But icy. But
don't get us in trouble, y'all.
Don't get us in trouble, guys.
Everything's happy here.
If you go back to old pictures and stuff, because there's been some old pictures and shots of them over the years from before they were like big. They've always been super close. I'm pretty sure Fourth has always had a little bit of a crushy crush. They've always been super. They have. I think even without GMMTV's involvement, they have become best friends. They are very, very close to one another, and they are in a little squad with Satang. Gemini, yes, Fourth had his eye on him. Gemini is very close to Satang. There was a game that they played a little while ago, and they were asked who's possessive, and Fourth said he was possessive, but Gemini was like, yeah, but you're not possessive of people, you're possessive of like things. Mm-hmm. And Gemini then admitted, he was like, I'm possessive of people, and he's like, I'm very possessive of Fourth and Satang. He openly said that. They are very close, the three of them. They're close in age, obviously, but they came into this together. They got very close. Now you see Fourth in this little squad with Satang and Mark, and it's like the funniest thing I've ever watched. Yeah, look at her. She's like Bilkin and Pee-Pee's like queen baby. It's so cute. Their like Gemini and Fourth, their families have become really good friends. Like it's a whole thing. So regardless of the status of their relationship, what type of relationship they have, they are very close. They are genuinely best friends. And this always freaking happens when people blow up. I've seen some solo stand nonsense kind of building between Gemini and Fourth, the Gemini and Fourth fandoms. Like some people have decided to only stand Fourth. Some people have decided to only stand Gem. And now they're like being nasty, which usually happens with solo stands, which is why I don't do solo stands. But the reality is that they are extremely close to one another. Yeah, Cell, same. They're extremely close to one another. They are not going to be leaving each other's lives anytime soon. Whether you want them to or not, they're not going anywhere. And they have built up enough of a fan base for the two of them, hi BY, that their fandom potential could rival the likes of Bilkin and Pee-Pee.
Well, for sure.
Of Bright Win. Like their fandom is in a year. You guys, My School President started airing like this time, like no, in September of like last year. We're not even a year into their shows being out.
It took 3 or 4 years for Bilkin and Pee-Pee to get billing together on Big Mountain Festival. That's like a big deal. There, you can tell like where a name is situated in a concert ad and how big the name is like in a concert ad. And they were showing like behind the scenes planning for Big Mountain Festival, and it literally said Bilkin Pee-Pee, Gemini Fourth. They should not be next to Bilkin and Pee-Pee already. They should not.
Thank you, Variant.
They should not, and yet there they are, like that fast. I will say New is the only one of the few that's risen this quickly before. But I think
New?
No, New is the
New. Okay, sorry.
Risen, come to the scene and shut up in popularity this fast. I think that because of the company Gemini and Fourth are in, they're better poised to go further.
Cell and Here for BL. In like the first My School President concert, Fourth had to do a solo and he got nervous, and on stage he asked Gemini, he was like, God, it's still my like one of the sweetest moments they've ever had. You see Fourth, he was like confident and then he lost his confidence and he got really nervous and he just goes, Jim.
Yeah, I saw that one.
He's like, Gemini. Almost, I mean, pretty much everybody's seen it, but Gemini. And then you hear over the loudspeaker because Jem got a mic and he's like, what? I went home. I love his response. He's like, what? I went home already. What do you want? And he's like, Jem, I need you. Like, come here. And he does. And you see Fourth just like go over to him and just like grab onto him because it was just overwhelming. Because Fourth has always wanted to be an actor.
Not a singer.
He's not out here. Like, he's straight up said early days, my school president stuff, people were like, we want you to sing. And Fourth was going, I'm not really a singer. Like, they were having to convince him to sing, even though he was singing all these things.
Mm-hmm.
In my school president, he was still during press for it and during interviews and things going, I'm not a singer. And Jim and I was having to like encourage him to sing.
I feel like that is also definitely BKPP coded.
Yes, it is. Because Bilkin is definitely a singer and PP is the one who had to be convinced.
Gets anxious, nervous, he gets touchy. Yes, very much so.
So
I think Fourth is a little more baby girl than PP is, which is shocking to say. But Fourth is a little more I think now, let me be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Early days, no. But now, yes.
I agree. Which is why I think he's going to move into a space where he's a lot more like Mix and less baby girl.
Yeah.
Which they both still have baby girl elements. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I think it's going to be, Mix has also unbaby girled a lot.
Yeah.
Somebody said something and I wanted to, okay. Lily. Yes. Good point. So I'm going to say this, and I will say this is one of my pet peeves. This is one of my irritations. I need everybody to stop seeing them touch and thinking that every touch is a romantic touch. And it's not just them. This happens with a lot of
I was going to say that's all around.
But especially with Jim Fourth, I'm seeing it a lot with Jim Fourth because you can read the anxiety on their faces and they touch and people are like, it's romantic. And I'm like, with other pairings, they hide it better. And but with those two, they don't hide how.
Especially Fourth.
There's that one clip that got out because like a manager or somebody behind the scenes of this interview or whatever filmed them where Fourth is in a studio chair and Gemini's in front of him and like touching him. Like he's got his hands on his shoulders and like Gemini's Fourth is like holding on to Gemini's shirt, I think. Anyway, comfort touches, like full on. And you can see how anxious, actually you can't in that moment. You can't see how anxious they are because they are using the comfort touches and then they get told that somebody's filming them and they stop touching each other and the anxiety is full force on their faces. And it's like, and a lot of people thought that clip was like
Rachel,
so romantic. And I was like, you interrupted their anxiety. Like, calm down. Like, please stop that.
Yeah, I also agree with the protectiveness. It gets so annoying. Like, it's not always jealousy. Like, calm down. Sometimes and I'm going to say in this business, they have very much a reason to be protective.
Yes.
There is a lot to, and I don't want to act like it's just Thailand. Like in the entertainment industry, I do not care what country you're in. I do not care if it's music or acting or what. There is a reason you need to be protective. And if it is healthy and good to have a partner that has your back and is protective of you, and that's not always it actually to me gets in the way when it's always read as jealousy, because it paints this weird picture of the other person who's there trying to take care of their partner, and it's turned into you put the right song over or something. And I learned that today or yesterday.
Yes.
Depending on you can really create a mood by the music you use.
A lot of times I'll say this for me. I don't know if anybody else does this, but a lot of times for me, if what I'm reading non-verbally does not fit with the emotions I'm feeling based on what I'm like hearing, I will mute my sound. I will turn my volume down and I will just watch it without the sound to make sure that I'm feeling like that what I'm seeing is actually making sense to me, because music does affect how you view something. Yeah. And so, and I want to also say, I'm going to take a moment of seriousness. Sorry to our 72 friends.
What? I'm sorry. What? I did not look up.
Don't worry about it. Okay, moment of seriousness though. Like, especially in the entertainment industry, any entertainment industry across the world, people, not great people, have picked up on that you can exploit people because of their dreams. Mm-hmm. This is a dream for most of the people doing it because it's too hard to not be something that you're dedicated to. So
I scared some 3 people away.
Yeah, you scared people away.
Sorry, go ahead.
But like, no, maybe my seriousness scared them away. But people have picked up, like, not great people that I personally would label as predatory, have picked up on the fact that you can exploit people for their dreams. And so there's reason for these pairings, especially with the history in BL, which I need to talk to Jaime because we were going to do a history in BL thing, but especially with like high roller events and things like that, there's a lot of shows now are showing us that there's very good reasons for these actors to be protective of one another, beyond jealousy. So yeah, Jana, I agree. And I do think some unofficial things are happening in that direction.
But it's hard, and they threaten you, and they probably harm you more in the process of making that happen. So some of these people that we look at with certain lenses, it frustrates me because we don't know what they're dealing with, why they have a bad mood about something, why they might not want to be around something. Like, there's so much background stuff that all of these actors are going through that even the ones I dislike, there is a level of empathy there because I know they probably have had to go through something to be on my screen. Sadly.
I will say this slightly different. I have a level of empathy for literally every actor except for one. So,
I know who you're talking about.
And actually, probably no one in the comments except for Red is going to know who I'm talking about. But I have empathy. I have empathy for Bright. I have empathy for just some of these. Even if I'm not the biggest fan of them, I know that they've been through it. Oh, Variant, same. I am concerned about Lego actively.
I'm terrified, honestly, because that's not the company for him to be at. Oh, I should not have said that. But I just, in the sense that I don't think they're going to be as protective as another company would. That's what
the only thing that makes me happy with the company he's in, though, is
the shift or the people.
The low level people he's around will protect him in a way that the higher levels won't. But the low level people will. The members of his group are already very protective of him. He's very protective of them. They're already intermingling with the actors and stuff, which makes me think they're gonna throw those boys into a BL at least once.
From the boy band.
From Lycan, Lykn, you should check him out. Oh,
he's amazing. Sweet. He is going to be a star. He is just. I just need.
Let's just say he's on the Jung Dunk radar, and those two are, I think, more protective than people realize.
Hearing them talk about Jung was like, oh damn. I mean, I'm not surprised, but the way all of them co-signed.
That he's like,
don't mess with people. Do not mess with people Jung loves.
I said it right.
He will fight for his friends. He will put himself between you and his friends. And the way they talked, I would not. I feel like he's got Bilkin energy.
I still. Okay, this is just me being me. Jung has experienced exactly what I'm worried about for Lego, and so that's why I think he is as protective as he is. But on top of that, again, what I bring it back to is they are in the Earth Mix bubble, and Earth Mix have taught this new generation to be protective of one another and of others. they have taught, there's this like, they have created this culture or environment amongst themselves of protection. We're going to we're going to have each other's backs. We're going to show up for one another. And so
I was gonna say, I think Afghan and Tainu have moved into that position too. I don't know if that was traditionally their role, but I see them taking it on now in a way that I wasn't expecting.
they protected one another. I didn't really see them protecting others, which I feel like they're stepping up because they're seeing the need for it. Um, I'm less worried about Earth and Mix leaving the company than I was before. Um, but I think that they've stepped up because well, that's another thing that I
Yeah,
don't want to
but
talk about.
also on that trip, like watching them, they stepped into. Nui really is the one that threw me for a loop. I just did not, and he really was like. I love Gunn was like, I will do as much as I will do. And then I am done. He's like, I'm gonna go downstairs now. Nui, go handle it. Like, but he really did like show up in ways I didn't expect him to. So I feel like they are taking more agency right now because there's strength in numbers. That's what it feels like.
I'm trying to think how to say this. I suspect that the things I believe potentially hypothetically happened to Gunn are a very real threat to Lego.
Yes.
But with that being said, Gunn has been through so much. He is protective, but he can only handle so much.
That would make sense. I see what you're saying.
Jung. Okay, for those, does anybody not know Jung's history? I'm going to ask that question again. I'm going to check
into it, but yeah.
I'm not going to get super into it. I'm just going to say generally. Does anybody not know Jung's history? Okay, Jung was at Motive Village. So Jung was raised in Thailand for 8 years. Then his mother remarried and moved to Turkey. And he was raised in Turkey for 8 years. Then yes, read about Gunn. Yeah. And then he came back to Thailand alone. And he joined Motive Village and he did Two Moons too. I'm not going to go into detail about the things that happened at Motive Village, but every bad thing you've seen in a BL about the industry happened at Motive Village. And I mean every bad thing you've seen.
It was well known. Like it's
very well known.
You can
very well
research
documented.
yourself.
Very well known, very well documented. You can find it. Every bad thing you've seen in a BL that they've talked about in the industry occurred at Motive Village to all of the actors. There was at least one that had like kind of a focus on him by the CEO specifically, but Jung was affected just like the rest, and he was young and he was without family. These other actors that were in the company had family and friends and people in Thailand. Jung had no one. He just had his BL partner. So when they were trying to get out of Motive Village, he and his BL partner went to China and tried to do separate things. Jung got into a Chinese show, acting on a Chinese show, and then Nine went and did this survival show, which Nine won a spot in this group, and he is now in a Chinese pop group called One Into One. Anyway, but that also meant because of China, Jung and Nine really can't interact anymore. And then on top of that, Jung's show kind of failed. It was not a good time. So he came back to Thailand, but then he was kind of lost. We didn't really know what was going on. So then when it was announced that he had joined GMMTV, a lot of us who had watched him in Two Moons 2 and had gotten very nervous about him and very excited and all this other stuff, I was so happy. And I'm not normally, because I don't necessarily, dang it. I'm not necessarily like always the biggest fan of GMMTV's choices, but I also knew that it was a big company with a lot of people that if he could get in with them, and I knew he could get in with them because of who he is as a person, he could make friends, and then he would have a community that he so severely lacked. And that's what we've watched. And I was nervous about his pairing with Dunk. And then that has turned out to be like the best thing for him. And he's and on top of that, there's like family stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
Like his father passed, and has also passed. Like
tough.
He's been through the ringer.
I was gonna. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, you just anyway. Jung has been through the ringer. That's why he's so protective. He's been through a lot of like all the things that are bad, so he would be protective of the people he's around.
I also think it's important to see who he gravitated to, because he sought out safety.
Yes.
When he got there, and he knew where he was going. He knew the people were there, and he sought out safety.
Yes.
Where are my protection points? Where, yes, he was bullied severely as well. And I think that when you see who he stays around, those are your safety points.
Well, and because when he, by the way, because when I wanted to say this for the anybody who's like, when was he, bullied? When he came back to Thailand, they treated him like a foreigner. Because he was speaking Turkish fluently. I would bet he had a bit of an accent when he was speaking Thai. And he was treated like a foreigner. That people still mistakenly say that he's Thai Turkish or Turkish Thai. And he's like, no, I'm strictly from Thailand. I just lived in Turkey for a while. So that man has been through the ringer. I think it's interesting to see, like, I continue to find it makes so much sense knowing him, but it is so interesting and not surprising that he force adopted Earth Mix. He forced that adoption and was like, you are going to be my mentors. Yes, and Dunk's family is a very safe space for him. Dunk's family welcomed Jung with open arms.
And he's at a lot of, like, I think people forget we don't see everything. So like he's at Earth Mix's house. Like they're in his life. Like in his life. And you could watch Safe House. Like he locked in on them so quickly in Safe House. Like,
oh my God,
how
quickly he locked in on Mix still makes me laugh when I think about it too hard. But what I will say for the people to maybe understand this better, Earth and Mix do not give a lot of people access to the cats. They really do not give a lot of people access to their houses or their cats. Jung has access to the cats, like all the time. During the LOL FanFest prep, Jung was at Banya 1 playing with Eden. There were pictures. So, yeah, that's family. Exactly. So they've found this found family thing amongst them that is just kind of the greatest. I like it. I like it a lot. And they're willing to bring, as long as you're willing to be cool, they're willing to bring people in. That's kind of the trick. And anybody that was participating in LOL FanFest are people that they feel safe with.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know. I'm sorry, Red. I don't know this for fact.
No, Red. No.
Stop it. Don't go there.
No, we'll talk about something else.
Heather, you hear me right now? You don't go there.
Heather Lee.
Don't go there.
Do a funny dance, Heather Lee. Happy.
But everybody at LOL FanFest are people that they feel comfortable with in one way or another. Like Book and Mix did Cute Chef Thailand together, so they have that history. And then Force Book and Jimmy C are really close, but also Jimmy and C are close with Earth and Mix. If anybody was wondering about that connection, because the other connections are fairly obvious, except I will bring up the one that's going to make Red emotional again. Earth and Mix are very, very, I cannot emphasize this enough, very close to Omen and Nan.
Hi, Carol.
And people don't often see it, but it is a thing. Yeah. Oh, hi, Carolina.
I want to go to Italy.
Yeah, I want to go to Italy.
One day.
I think that there are some BL boys that are potentially headed to Italy at some point. Um,
Sarah!
I said at some point potentially that it could be any day now. I desperately want Omen and Anon separate together. I don't care, to work with Gemini and Fourth, because they had so much fun with them. They brought out the like young joy that Omen and Anon had when they did that band set together on LOL FanFest. I was like, this is it. I'm seeing them again. And but they are super close to Earth and Mix. Earth and Mix have protected them and have been their listening ear, and it's a whole thing.
I was gonna say I tend to get like woo or like overly sentimental, but I'm okay with that. That's like the space I'm in life at this point. But I felt like LOL Fest was a collective of people who were in space of needing healing in certain ways, and and you had Earth and Mix at the helm, and it was a healing experience for a lot of them. It wasn't just a concert, but it allowed community that we've been talking about. It allowed for them to make connections because they work so much. It's hard for them to make connection. So it put them in a space locked away together so that they could form relationship and connection and support that they needed, and a heal through some stuff that they need. I think that, and oddly enough, what is it? What was the series extension? What is it called? Something 2.
Our Sky 2.
Our Sky 2, oddly enough, I think Our Sky 2 into LOL Fest was like a whole like healer experience for a lot of them that created this new. I already felt like the company was in a trajectory of these actors really finding connection with each other and using that to kind of move some of the decision making. But I feel like LOL Fest pushed that even further, which makes me nervous. I'm not going to lie that there could be pushback to that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not in a fairy tale land.
But I would also say yes, you're right about the healing, but I would also say it was also a group of people who need protection and they need community. Mm-hmm. And they brought, like, that was what I found so interesting about Jimmy. And I know that it was because it was like the Our Sky crew, but at the same time I was like, to have Jimmy and C there and Force and Book there thrown in with the crew that was there so heavily, I was like, this is interesting. But at the same time, they're so isolated that it's like you give them interactions, because now, and especially with OnlyFriends, now you have Force and Book interacting with First and Cow all the time.
All the time. We never saw that before.
And they're like, they've gotten really close. Book and Cow have gotten really close.
I am so happy to see Book making friends, like making friends. That video of him with Jung is just like hugging his legs because he's such a little, he's in his little corner. He didn't feel safe with anyone. So to see him making friends, my heart.
Knowing his backstory, which he has only recently just opened up to us about, it makes so much sense why he had not been as
pretty. Thank you.
That was really, really pretty. But like, it makes sense why he was not. Thanks, Barry. Why he was not as like willing to be in community with people, but now to see him like be in community with these guys is so. It's just so. It makes my heart so happy, and I'm like, Bookie, that's the right choice. They're not going to do that to you. Taking pictures of Mix and saying, yeah, how wonderful the pics were on Mixes. Yeah, yes. We got a lot of people from Italy. What's up, Italy?
Oh, Italy's in the house. Hey, Italy. How y'all doing? Welcome.
I want to go to Italy really bad.
That was my dream spot. I heard it's not great these days, but I had to find certain areas.
I've flown.
Stop it, Lena. I was not looking.
Lena, I've flown down. I have not flown over an ocean yet, and
Me either. That right before COVID hit, that was my plan. I was going to step away from dancing because it took so much of my time and money, and I re-got my freaking passport, and my plan was to go overseas and stop dancing.
So should you and I plan a trip to go
Yes.
abroad? That's a thing we should do.
So I was already, we'll talk. I had already agreed with Emily to go one place. She is helping to organize that because she's doing a whole trip. And then she's going to go. She will work.
She's already tripping around.
I forgot you're just into the Discord. We'll talk. Emily has a whole plan.
Emily needs to talk to me. We need to have a conversation.
Emily has a whole plan. We'll talk.
Okay, I want to join. All right. Somebody asked what Book's backstory is. Okay. So it recently came out because everybody thought that Book and Force had gotten really close on Enchante. They had not. Force tried really hard. Book wouldn't. And that's what's come out recently. So when they did press for A Boss and a Babe, Book finally like opened up about things. Book did, not Force. And I think because Force is a very respectful baby, I think his thought process on it was it's his story to tell, not mine. And so he let Book tell it. And so what we found out was that Book got burned really bad by a previous friend group. And he said that everybody abandoned him. And so he was really not trying to make new friends because he was scared of making new friends. And so when he reconnected with Force, he was trying to keep Force at like arm's length all the time. But Force kept trying to connect with him. I mean, they've known each other since they knew of each other, sometimes spent time together, but really were not close. I have a little theory that Force always was a fan of Book. But Book was just not necessarily aware of it. But Force kept trying, and Book kept being like, just keeping him at arm's length. Came to a head when Force had invited him out, and Book was like, you have to plan in advance because otherwise I'm not going to come out. So Force did.
No.
He invited him to this restaurant and was like, we're going to go on this day at this time. And Book was like, got it. And the day came and Book bailed and said that he had a family emergency, except he showed up in pictures on a friend's Instagram because he actually went and hung out with like established friends. And Force at that point was like, I'm just not going to try anymore. He's like, that hurts. You've hurt me. That hurts. And I'm not going to try anymore. And then that was when Book kind of had his like, oh, I've turned into the bad friend now kind of moment. And so then Book started trying. He apologized to Force. He got teary-eyed when he talked about this because he felt so bad about it. You could see how guilty he felt. And Force just looked hurt. It was just like, it was a hard moment. But then Book was like, I realized like I had to step up, that this person had really tried very hard to get to know me and I was the one pushing them away. And so he started letting Force in. And now they are, and this has only happened in like the last year, you guys. And now they've genuinely gotten closer. You can see the shift in their relationship now. Because like we were talking about protective and jealous moments a few minutes ago, we're starting to see that from them, which we've never seen before. I have never seen Force and Book act protective or jealous of one another before relatively recently. Even before Force and June and Pond a bit have always been the captains of the ships. It's always hilarious. I made a video about it like a while ago. Like they've always provided us with extra content. But Force on record said he's the captain of every ship except his own. Like he's part of every ship except his own. But that was before all of this happened with Book, where Book has like really put an effort and become close with them. From the beginning to Safe House, because they were in Safe House before Enchante aired, before they even started filming Enchante. It was Safe House 2.
I was going to say, like, I don't think now that they've gotten closer, they were in their own little corner and now they're exposed to all of these people. And like, I don't know, Book in particular is interesting to me because he gets confused sometimes by Force's interaction with others, where he's like,
Yeah, and it's because what I chalk that up to is while Book was keeping Force at arm's length, he was keeping everybody at arm's length. Actually, if he was keeping Force at arm's length, he was keeping everybody at a football field away from him. And meanwhile, Force was going to the gym with Ohm, going to the gym with June. He was making connections and making friends. So Force has a level of friendship with a lot of these guys that Book doesn't have because he was taking the time and he was spending it with them to make those connections. And so now Book is joining in and he's going, oh, wow. So you really did make friends without me.
Like, I will say he legitimately got, but Dunk I am seeing is a Tay in the making. Dunk is a Tay in the making. Dunk just likes to play, and he will go there where people won't go there. Certain partnerships you just don't mess around with, and Dunk is like, let me see what I can do here. What can I do today? And he's not serious about any of it. It's just all play for him.
It's about exactly one person, and it is not any of the people he's playing.
Yeah. He's just like to see what reaction am I going to get and how far can I push this? And so he kept holding Force's hand in that one. And I've never seen Book. Like there was a point where Book like removed their hands from each other. And I was shocked. I was like, what is happening right now? But Book was like, I don't know what you're doing, little Dunk, but I need you to calm down and not do that anymore.
Oh my gosh, the Dunk Pond handhold.
Pond is not going to get caught out there. Pond was like, do you see? I know who's sitting next to me.
Oh, but my favorite was Puin's face, because Puin's face literally said, I didn't even teach him that. He just did that on his own. Yeah. Like, I didn't even teach him that.
Pond was just like, evasive maneuver. You will not hold my hand.
Evasive maneuver.
It's because Dunk kept trying to intertwine the fingers, and he was like, nope, 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 nope. No.
By the way, I just want to say, because you got Thai tea, now I'm getting myself Thai tea and mango sticky rice because that's all I've been thinking about.
Woo! All right, Hurt Shannon's back.
Shanann?
Hi. And I think she wants to play. I knew she wanted to play because she's on the other account. I was like, I see other account. You wait to know. She came in and was like, invite me.
Hi, Shanann.
I saw the other account and I was like, oh, Shannon wants to play. And then it just like,
I was like, oh, there's no one here to talk to about things.
I'm full on. I can own it. You said it. And I was like, no, I just want to get through breakfast. But I don't know why I'm avoiding OnlyFriends. I don't know.
This is really funny because everyone will often be like, oh, Kelly, yeah, you do these things, or this is what you do when this happens, or this I do this, and Kelly's always like, how do you know that? This is another one of those situations. If you are waiting for food,
to stay here in my heart of hearts.
How do you know that?
Huh? What are we talking about? What did I hop in on?
What were we talking? Oh, we had moved to Force Book.
You're talking about Pond throwing off Dunk's hand, and Puin like, I didn't even teach him that. He just did it on his own. Jung's face was like,
and Dunk turning into the next Tay.
Yes,
because he is just running around, and he has tried in almost every interview when they're with other people to like put his hand on the person's leg, try to hold the person's hand. Like Dunk is just like, what can I put? He like found out his appeal. This is what I see. He's like, oh, people like me. Oh, I'm cute. Oh, I'm desirable. Oh, I can play. It's right for his age too. Like, yes, go have some fun.
It's like that moment where you're like, wait a minute. All of this is a lot of fun. You just go for it.
I also feel like Hidden Agenda has like awakened something in him, right? Between LOL Fest and Hidden Agenda, he's just like, he is going through a metamorphosis, and Jung is like,
in C scenes. He's filming in C scenes. He locked that shit down, and he's filming in C scenes. It was
He's
the
like,
bike.
oh, is there something on?
Got the two hickey pictures?
I've never seen anyone show up. There is
All the times when we joke and we're like, oh, is it a bug bite or is it a hickey? And it's like this little red dot. And he's like, do you see this mark of a mouth?
And it was not a little red dot. And he was
Mark of a
literally like,
mouth.
if he could have done this,
Yeah. If a bug did that to him, it's the end times.
You could see that he had moved his shirt so that you could see it.
Yeah. He's like, there will be no guesses.
But did you notice after the second picture? Did you guys notice that the pictures that followed were of a high collared T-shirt? I was like, oh, somebody told you had to hide that. Somebody told you that was not okay.
He just got sleepover privileges back. This kid. Mommy.
I know. I was like, why are you trying to take sleepover privileges away?
it's the opposite. There's old BKPP pictures of PP going to an event with Bilkin, like a sports event, and in every picture, it's just PP taking a picture like this. He's just like, like who does that? And then like I think Bilkin had on like a zip up jacket, and then the next picture you see him in the zip up jacket, so it zips all the way up. But there's like two pictures of him posing like this.
Nothing to see here.
Everything is totally normal and very fine.
I think it's kind of funny because if Dunk got that from the NC scenes, then he's like, oh, I get to show this off. This was work. And that is hilarious. That is so funny if he's like, can't get in trouble for this shit.
That is the energy I feel is coming.
Except I'm pretty sure he was well finished filming NC scenes.
Listen, let him have his cover. He's gonna lose sleepover privileges again.
We are
Okay.
Tomorrow is supposed to be the NC scenes, or at least the first NC scene. So, I guess as the lead up to it, maybe he's throwback pictures, guys.
Like my knee is throbbing really bad.
Is your leg elevated right now? Please and thank you. Because if it's not elevated, you're not
Pull out a
elevate your
chair and
fucking leg.
put your leg in it, Shannon.
Hidden agenda. Hey, Elle.
Tiger Balm. Yeah, that's right, Quinn.
Hi. Shannon was being chased by a bee. Look, I know the whole story. I wasn't there. Shannon was being chased by a bee. She tripped and she hurt her knee and her ankle. This was after the kids. I was not on that line.
I learned that if you go on your phone and go to your like live center. Wait, hold on, Emmy. Yes, Emmy. Oh, now he's shy. You can go to the previous live to watch it. Wait, hold on. Wait.
I did my count to one count.
Got it. So anyways, you can go onto the live center and you can pull up your live and it will let you cut scenes from the live. So I went to the part of my live where I got injured and I cut it and I put it on my account. It is as dramatic as it sounds.
I can't wait to watch. Can't wait to see it.
The NC scene is Hidden Agenda that's on tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what happened. Joe tripped and planted his teeth in Zoe's neck.
Now,
That's a freaking, it was a literal mouth mark. I was like, that's the teeth.
this is concept trailer season. And if I want to go full Delulu, it's concept trailer season. We all, after LOL FanFest, expressed interest in there being a vampire series.
Oh,
Between
don't put
Bring and
that in
Dump.
the universe. We're never gonna get it.
What kind of role playing / I'm a method actor type of shit would they have had to do for him to get that mark from a vampire series?
It would be Neo level. Let me take my shirt off. Let's do some kissing.
Whoa, you guys need to watch this episode because I understand why Mark said all they were doing was filming
NC
NC
scenes.
scenes.
I just been. Oh wait, is that Heather Elise? Wait, everybody. Okay, yeah, it is. I was like, everybody. I just saw you come in. What was I gonna say? Words. Oh, I did watch Wedding Plan.
I don't know.
Rude.
What?
What?
What just happened?
No.
I don't know.
Um,
I was making food and I
oh,
forgot.
please don't run. Please do that slowly and calmly. Do not put weight on your leg. I have a lot of instructions here.
And none of them will help
my
me. So.
No, I was saying I watched yesterday's episode of Wedding Plan. There was
Yeah, so did I.
inciness there. Why are you making that face? It's just us here talking our talk.
Sorry, I'm half listening and then I'm half trying to order food for myself.
No,
haven't
but
eaten
I actually liked that. Yes.
Sarah.
So,
I'm sorry.
Hi. Okay.
Wait, have you eaten today?
Yes, I just ate before I asked to be on live.
God, I love that.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't like it? I can't remember why that would be not liked. For yesterday?
Oh, I thought the Wednesday's wedding plan scene was good.
Yeah.
Good.
I wasn't crazy about the first one, but this one's fine to me.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, all the MSP members usually switch. I liked it. Yeah. Ow! Let me read that out loud. Oh, it's only a part of it on YouTube. You are correct.
Oh, yeah, I watch on IT, so I
Oh.
forget that it's cut.
That's true.
Swallowing.
I watched for the dialogue on YouTube because the dialogue on YouTube was really good, and then I
I
watched.
forgot you told us to do
And
that.
I cut ahead to minute like 35 to see the NC scene in Aichi.
I feel like June.
I think by the time I
every day-
watched it on ITE, the translations were at least adequate.
Okay.
I feel like Jung is every day fighting for his life. He was fighting for his life in that Joy Lada interview. Because
I'll keep going.
Huan was like, ha ha ha, and Jung
What?
fiddling his hands. Like,
Oh,
he
I gotta go.
Stop it.
Bye.
Oh, bye.
Yeah, I've changed my mind about who our strongest soldier is, Jung and not Dunk, because Dunk has, and then Jung is poor Jung, trying so hard.
He was.
I feel like I feel like Jung is not really trying that hard, but he like I don't know how to explain. I don't think he's
I think
Fighting
he is
for
at
his
all
life.
times trying not to bite that man's neck. Okay,
When
he's
I
his
say-
strongest soldier because he is trying so hard to keep himself together.
What?
Oh, go ahead, Shannon.
Yeah, see, Shannon, think about it.
I was saying he gives whenever I see him, he gives me sort of vibes like we'll do that later.
Yeah,
Yeah. So when I say fighting for his life, it's more of having to wrangle Dunk's wildness. That's what I mean when I say fighting for his
which
life.
it used to be. Those roles were reversed.
Yeah. Where he's just like, I'm not going to be a freak about this. Just let him be wild right now. But
And
his
now-
little hands, whenever I watch now for Jung's hands to start fidgeting, like,
Yeah.
this is nothing, calm down. Which he didn't do. Did we talk about the shift in them? Because he wasn't that pressed before. And he
We-
feels pressed
I
now.
think we have privately, but not.
Okay. He just seems more pressed these days.
Well,
but also,
I seriously think it has to do with the sleepovers being taken away. I seriously do. I think Jung is now. I think what happened with the
Shannon's
sleepovers being
frozen.
taken away. Yeah.
Okay, you were frozen.
Well, I can see her little Wi-Fi bars.
Yeah, it's like
but,
not happy.
I truly think that whatever led to the sleepovers ending had a lot to do with Jung's behavior prior, potentially. And then they were taken away, and that was like hard for them. Now that they're back on, he's the one who's trying to keep it together, and Dunk is the one who's off the freaking rails.
I think people forget their early 20s. Like, this is the time, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes.
Which is also why I try not to go too deep into they're all dating. I mean, the 20s is a time, I think part of the thing that gets put on them through this BL coupledom that I feel like is super unfair, even if they do like have a thing for their partner or not, is the fact that in your 20s, you should be able to date around and be with a bunch of different people. And that's healthy. And that's part of like that age range. But like they can't do that openly or in a way that's like, you're not trying to, everyone in their 20s is not trying to get married, but people come in with this BL mindset and put it on them that feels super unfair. Like even if you want to like believe in BL couples, it still feels unfair. Like y'all let these 20 somethings live.
Sneaky links happen, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be.
Situationships.
Open relationships are way more acceptable today than they were back, before.
Situationships.
Yeah.
Entanglements.
Lord, the way these fandoms like put this pressure of like be in love, get married. I'm like, y'all chill out. They just want to like be 20.
Actually, to that point, I will say, I know I talked a lot about Jim Forth. I'm watching them. I'm not encouraging it. I'm not begging for them to be in a relationship. In fact, I was hoping that they would get there later, not now, because later.
But make it clear.
Who you want? Flirt with everyone.
Yes.
And with whatever gender makes you happy. If we don't stop with that mess, it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. Whatever gender you're into, and in whatever moment you're into that gender is cool. Like
Go for it. Have fun. Step out.
It makes me so mad. Like the minute they don't fall in line, and it's not like, it's people who think they're doing right. It's people who think they're protecting